Hey, it's about 1 a.m. Eastern Time. I just wanted to share a thought. I wanted to talk about vulnerability. So, in my past, I definitely have been of the belief that women should date multiple men at a time, especially, I guess, in my younger years. I would say, somewhere between like 19 through, I don't know, 27. I'm almost thankful for my hot-headedness and my father's instincts, because it's like I could channel him. We hadn't had a whole lot of conversations about dating, but I would say just kind of knowing him so well, I felt like just as a girl, being very confident at that time kind of kept me out of the soup, because I kind of dealt with men, especially in my 20s, like it is my world. You are in my world and you got to get with my program to be in my world. And to an extent, I kind of believe women should be like that, even now. But there's a middle ground, because you don't want to find yourself not getting into relationships because you're too arrogant and don't believe that there's anything that should change about you, or that you don't have to make adjustments for someone to be with someone. So now, yes, I still believe in dating multiple men at a time, because I feel like, and I said dating, that means talking to, spending time with. That does not mean getting on your back with. That's not what that means. And anyway, I do believe that as a woman, you should date multiple men. I think it kind of balances things and helps, us kind of keep our emotions kind of at bay, because sometimes when we're dating just one man, then it's like we have so many expectations for that one man, and it's honestly unfair to him. It's unfair to us. Also, it gives us an opportunity to see the same, a couple men at the same time pursuing us, and we may discover that we like to be pursued a particular way. We may like that we actually, maybe we discover that we like certain traits of certain men. Anyway, I think that that's a good thing. But let me say this: every once in a while, and as you mature, you have to start to understand what your likes, your wants, your needs are, what your must-haves are, what your can't stands, and when you need to stop and focus on one person. I've had a couple of my best friends have always been good about holding me accountable when I meet, a particular man that it kind of looks like I'm going towards a relationship with him, and I will explain all of his attributes, and they're like, well, hey, he actually sounds like someone you might want to focus on. And so then that's about me taking the risk and focusing on what we could be, because I actually believe that men, especially men that have have some experience dating, and if they're higher value, I don't want to throw that term around, but they will know when you are entertaining other men. And some of them may be turned off by that. Some of them will actually, the competition is good, and I didn't say create jealousy, but they sense that, hey, you're a great catch, and that it's important for them to vet me kind of fast, because they want to determine very quickly whether they should be in a relationship with me or not. But also on my end, there are certain men that are worth just focusing on and doing my very best to stay emotionally balanced with. And also that includes me not dealing with him like I'm just juggling men, and actually starting to show my layers, actually starting to tell him interesting stories about me, starting to, kind of share some vulnerable moments, some real thoughts. Because once he starts doing that, I need to match that, but we also need to create the space to do that so that we can get closer. And so I just want to encourage every woman and man, when you start to sense that someone is worth it and they're trying to give you the energy, the time, the attention, and you feel healthy and balanced about it, hey, maybe we need to clear the space and just focus on them for a few weeks or a couple months just to see what's there without any distractions, because that used to be my problem. I might meet 3 guys, and then one of them was like, could be an awesome match for me, but I didn't want to yield to that one and just focus on him because I was like, I don't want to get caught up on him. But the other 2, I could have gotten to know, yes, and realized that they were just kind of placeholding at that time. They weren't really doing anything for me. I was having much more fun with the other guy. There was a genuine connection. He was willing to make sacrifices and give me, a lot of time to show that he was truly interested with his actions. And at that time, if I'm feeling a connection, it would have probably been good to move the others out the way, just to actually explore the possibility. And so I just want to encourage us as we're dating, singles as we're dating, to start to understand and recognize when someone comes along that you kind of need to clear space for, that you have to start to get honest with yourself and realize, I need to show more of my colors. I need to show a little bit more of my feelings. I need to meet them where they are and be vulnerable and share more of myself so that they know, hey, I'm kind of becoming invested in this too. We have to meet each other. Like, men need to have interest shown from women as well, so that they know they need green lights. And women, we need to give those. They can't just continue to be the only one that initiates calls, the only one that initiates meeting up. Now, they need to be doing it most of the time, but we also need to become very warm to that if that's what we want to do. We don't need to act stank. We don't need to act snotty. We don't need to be demanding, we need to be open and kind of easygoing and laid back, but still enforcing our standards and our boundaries. With men, be okay with asking a woman out and creating, experiences and expressing yourself and taking a chance and sometimes saying, hey, I care about you. Hey, I really enjoyed, X, Y, and Z. Like, start to create a safe space for each other and don't make assumptions. Assumptions are extremely dangerous. They're so dangerous because sometimes we misinterpret each other, and it sometimes just happens because one person's a man and one person's a woman, and we're just wired differently. So we need to really start developing really good, communication very early. There was a lot of times where I thought that I was being clear with, communicating with the men I was dating, and I wasn't. And I had to learn to be a little more clear, a little more frank, a little more blunt, but still tactful. But anyway, the message is, don't be afraid to be vulnerable with someone when you find that they are worth it. This could literally take your connection from one level to the next, to a higher level. So don't be afraid of that. And I just also have to say that there's power in knowing. Sometimes you need to dip your toe in the pool because you need to see if there's really something there. But if you're playing too safe, then you're not even going to be able to see it. If you're being too guarded, then you're not going to be able to tell. So go ahead and take some calculated risks, some careful risks, but make yourself clear. And then if the person doesn't meet you, then oh well, you did what you could. You put some cards out there on the table. And if they didn't meet them, then you can move forward or move on with a clean heart. Have a good night.